In this video, I'm going to look at a simple uh, program that does a little bit of string manipulation in Python. So I'm just going to start with a string that is a simple string, and my example will be example, and I'm assigning it to a variable called word, and it will be of the type string, and uh, so that strings are a class, objects of a class. And so then if I take my word, which is a string, then we can see that there are all sorts of um, properties and methods and sort of come along for free for having the class. I'm going to use uh, only one of them, and then I'm going to convert the string into a sort of a list of characters and then play with that as well. Okay, so first thing I do is I just print out the word, and then I use one of the methods upper. And what I'm just trying to show here is I'm printing out the word, then I'm printing out the word with this upper method applied to it, and then I'm printing out the word again. And we will see that the original word was not affected by upper, that so upper will affect sort of a copy of the word, and so, but it doesn't affect the original variable word. So by line 6, it's still the lowercase or whatever I put in, which was lowercase. If I really want the original word to be put into all uppercase, then I have to assign that uh, uppercase result back to word and then. So I'm going to run this. There's more to follow, but let me just run that part of it and sort of scroll to the relevant part. And here was example. It was capitalized. So I printed the word, I printed the capitalized version of the word, but then I printed the word and it was still in small letters. And then I took upper as word and made it uppercase, and then assigned it back to the original word and then printed it. And now we see that the original variable is now uh, in uppercase. Okay, so you just have to pay attention to when you have these methods. Do they affect sort of a copy, or do they affect the original? And upper in this case is affecting a copy. Here I am taking the word, which is a string, and then using this method list, which will convert it into a list. And then I'm just printing out that list, and the list will be surrounded by square brackets. And then we can apply various list methods to it. So one of them will be reverse. So I'm going to sort of write the letters of the words backwards. I'm going to print letters, and we will see that as opposed to the upper method acting on the string, which did not affect the original, the reverse method acting on the list lets does affect the original. So we will see that in printing lets that the letters are reversed. And then I want to sort of put them back together into a string. So I'm going to use the join method. And if in other languages, join, say in JavaScript, join is a property of the array. The equivalent of a list in JavaScript is an array, more or less. But here in Python, the join method belongs to strings. So we're back to a string method. And so we're going to take some string, which I'm just starting off as quote, quote, and then I am joining to it the lets. So that'll give us the reversed words. And so then I'm printing that out. Okay, so let's show that much. And here we are down here. Here is me just printing. I created the list, and here's me printing the list. And so it's showing the square brackets, and it's a list and the word example. And then I've just printed out reverse the list, and then here is the list printed out in reverse. So if I read backwards, I can read, then it still says example. And here it is, but that's reversed as a list. And then here it is joined back up to make a string. Okay. And then I play with two other methods. Sort is another list method that sorts my list, or alphabet in this case, since they're letters, alphabetizes them. And again, I'm not printing out the list this time, but I am using the join method of the string. So I create a string called sorted, started as quote, quote. One time I started as single quote, one time double quote, and for that it made no difference. And then I'm joining the letters after they were sorted, and then printing the word sorted. So if I'm down here in the output, here are the letters of the word example, sort of in alphabetical order. So A's, E's, L's, M's, P's, X, okay. And then I wanted to, sort of the opposite of sorting them, I wanted to put them in a random order. So I wanted to shuffle them. But shuffle does not belong to list. Shuffle belongs to the random class. So that doesn't come in sort of by default. So I bring it in with an import. I'm importing the random class. And then I'm going to use the built-in shuffle method of the random class and shuffle the list lets. And then I'm going to, again, use the join method of the string. So I created a string rando. I use its join method and join the lets. Okay. But we have like all these built-in methods, but we have to know who they belong to. Is it a string method? Is it a random method? Is it a list method? And so shuffling is a method of random. You may be shuffling a list, but it belongs to random. Okay. And so then that was down here. Here's my shuffled up word. And every time I run the program, if I run the program, that should be different. So here it was XEA. And then if I sort of should run it again, now it's email exp, so it's a different result for shuffled. What other fun did I want to have with strings? I decided to, again, I had played around and shuffled a word, whatever. So now I sort of went back and reset the letters to be the list of words. So it's now back to the original order in example. And so I made a list of the words. So I have the list of letters, and I am looping through them. So I have my letters as a list, and I'm looping over the items in the list. And I'm just printing out the letter, and then I'm using this method, ORD. So I'm finding, and that finds the number, if it's a low enough character, it's the ASCII character of the corresponding character. So I'm going to print out a list of the letter of the word, the character, and its corresponding ASCII code. So that was here. A is a 65, B is a 66, E was a 69. So it begins and ends with 69 and has all these other things. Now I decided I wanted to play a game with that and do what's called a Caesar shift. So it's a simple encoding where you move down the alphabet so many places. I chose 3. And then if you reach the end of the alphabet, then and a normal thing to do is to sort of bring yourself back to the beginning of the alphabet. So my X in example is, if I'm shifting it 3 times, one shift will make it Y, a second will make it Z, and then it will become an A. Um, and that's, so I'm looping over the items in my let's list, and I'm taking the ord, which ord of item, which is the ASCII for the letter, and adding, and that makes it a number, and I'm adding 3 to it, normal addition. And if that's less than or equal to the number corresponding to Z, then I am going to add it to my Caesar. But if I went past Z, as I do with my X in example, then I want to subtract 26 and sort of go back to the beginning of my alphabet. So here I'm doing ord item +3 to shift, but -26 to sort of cycle back to the beginning of the alphabet. And then I'm adding that on to my Caesar, which started off as blank, and that gives me my encoded word. So the word example, Caesar shifted by 3 is had piso. Um, so that was this little program, a bit of playing in with strings and lists of characters and playing the various methods, the string methods, the list methods, and in the case of shuffling, a random method, sort of back and forth against each other just to have a little bit of fun with strings. That's all I wanted to show you in this one. Thanks for your attention.